All right, shalom, shalom. Hey, first and foremost, before we get started, as always, I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Kakadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders and great men on it well to the truth. Peace and salutations to the icon that's pushing this word in truth and sincerity. Throughout the full place of the earth, waking up the whole day, risking their lives and for us to do so, definitely more so now than ever before. This is the Messiah of Boxing, Mr. Trick by Camp. And I'll come back with another lesson, right? Lesson learned regarding, right, the state of this economy, right? Because your economists telling you, well, not economists, but let Trump tell you, you know what I'm saying? He paints the picture as there's nothing wrong, we're doing pretty darn good. You know, let him tell you. But it's like the people say otherwise, all right? Our pockets say otherwise. Inflation says otherwise. All right? GDP says otherwise. So, all in all, okay, we know that the so-called white man is the devil. Right? The word devil basically means deceiver. Right? And he's set up, right, to deceive, right, the people. You know, he's not going to tell you, straight up and down what's really going on, what you need to be concerned with. Right? He's not set up to be straight up. Right? So we have this article here, right? It says the U.S., which slips to its lowest ever ranking of global corruption index. Is there, right? So it's really more. It says the United States has fallen to its worst ever position in the leading global index that measures the perception of corruption in the public sector by independent experts. It is absolutely. That shouldn't be a secret, all right? But we have a subset of our people, of this society, that they, as the scriptures say, is simple believers in every word. Right? 2/3 of our people, they don't have any discernment. They don't look into things. Right? They don't research. Yeah, they don't even watch the news. You see that? So they basically have their head in the set, right? And that's just what it is, right? Because as long as they can get their benefits, as long as they can, if they have a job working they 9 to 5, be off on the weekend or whatever, party all weekend just to, start the same cycle. Jake is satisfied, quite frankly, and it's more to life than just having a job, earning a pension, and retiring. That's a miserable life. That's all you got to look for, right? To have a moment, because that's all it is, a moment on the weekend, on a Friday or a Saturday. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not living, right? Reading on here, it says, what the world's most powerful democracy last year slipped one notch to 29th place out of 182. Transparency International's Corruption Perceptions Index, it says that's the lowest rank since 2012. Right, when the index established in 95, which was launched using methodology. So in its new position, the United States title nominee was beaten by Romania, Barbados, and Europe. The U.S. has been on a downward trend for the past decade. So it took another hit last year when the Trump administration gutted federal government's ability to fight public corruption by pausing investigations into corporate foreign policy for bribery and curtailing enforcement of a foreign agent administration of law or other measures. So since returning to the White House, U.S. President Donald Trump has also actively weakened institutions and deployed tools of the government against perceived foes. The United States overall CPI score also is a lower incidence, lowest ever level, steady as downward slide over the past decade. Came in at 64 on the scale, 100 is very clean, 0 is highly corrupt. How about that? Think. Do you think now let's go to work? Talk about corruption. Right? That's all you're gonna get. Yep. Right? You're not gonna get just wait. You're not gonna get, measures. Right? Your whole system is based off of debt. Right? But these FRNs, right? So-called dollar bills, right? It's not money. It's the illusion of money. Fiat currency. Fiat means so be it. So in layman's terms, it is what it is. It only is what it is. It is what the so-called white men say it is. The day that he say that money, air quotes, all right, your so-called Benjamins, whatnot, right? The day that he say it's worth nothing, it will be worth nothing, right? And we coming into that time. So yeah, your money gonna be obsolete, right? There ain't gonna be nobody accepting cash. And they may make it illegal. They may outlaw it. Ain't nobody in this society really have any real money. You ain't got no gold and no silver. You ain't got nothing. Okay? That's the facts. It's the hardcore facts. So let's look up corruption. Alright? Let's look up corruption. Let's say corruption. Based in character. Unhealthy, corrupt, uncool. To destroy, spoil, figurative, corrupt, seduce, bribe. Right? We know that. We know that's happening. Right? Behind closed doors, there's a lot of bribes going out, a lot of payoffs. Right? Especially with this, what's the guy? Damn, I can't think of his name right now. So, but Epstein, right? The Epstein Island and all that. Um, Ghislaine Maxwell, I think she mentioned something saying that basically her silence can be bought, with clemency. All right, she just want to get out. Like, if she get out, then, there's gonna be some money behind that. It's not, I'm saying, because Trump's name has been mentioned. They say like 138 times, I believe it was, in these files, these active files or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, and he ain't the only one, but he's one of the most, notable. Right? This is why, right? He being cutting up, acting up, and being very, just perverse and blunt and chaotic in his administration. Because whatever's in the files, he don't want them to come out. You don't want those images to be seen, even though it's been coming out as of late. Him, being around, young children, being around young children without able to explain himself, right? son. A lot of cases, very compromising, images, right? But this is what these so-called white people are into, right? They worship Satan, right? We can't say that enough, right? So they're gonna do all type of taboo and obscene things. They're gonna do in your name. We're the people of righteousness, the Israelites, even though we're under curses, we went off. All right. Generally speaking, we have a conscience, right? Some of the things that, or a lot of the things that so-called white man does behind closed doors, like a lot of Jakes wouldn't be able to stomach. Wouldn't be like, what are you doing? What's going on? Like, what would possess you to think of such a thing, let alone act upon it? You see, so that's you gotta remember you're dealing with the wicked, all right? The Bible calls Esau Edom the wicked, right? The scriptures call him also the man of sin. So that's how he get down. His middle name is sin, you know, figuratively speaking, you know. So let's see what else we got. Corrupt as a verb, mid 14th century, depraved, morally pervert, from good to bad, you know. And that's what he's done with the whole world. It's went from good to bad, you know. So let's see. Let's get some scriptures. In fact, let's go here. Let's go to James. All right, this is James 5, verse 1, and it reads, "Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that should come upon you. Your riches are corrupted," right? Yeah, because the money is that it went from good to bad. Once upon a time, the dollar was backed by gold. You know what I'm saying? Then eventually it went to silver, all right? And then eventually it was nothing, all right? Just literally printing money out of thin air, right? By a command, by a word, print some more money. And the more you keep doing that, you're devaluing the so-called money. You see what I'm saying? This is why vehicles are $70,000, houses are a quarter million for a damn two-bedroom home. You know what I'm saying? You know, this is why your groceries are, you end up seeing them out, for groceries because the value of your dollar, the strength, the buying power is not there, right? Just in the past 10 years, like, you don't have, the strength of the dollar is not what it was. So, let alone when compared now to, 20, 50 years ago. Shit. Um, it says, what else? Yep, your riches are corrupted and your garments are moth. It says, your gold and silver is canker, and the rest of them shall be a witness against you. Right? And we're seeing it. The whole system is corrupt. Money ain't worth nothing. The economy is in shambles. Right? Like you name it. You know what I'm saying? America, hey, if you didn't know, it's doing real bad. Right? This is all power of Yahweh Shai. The Heavenly Father is systematically, all right, tearing this place down. You know what I'm saying? And what hits harder than money, so-called money, riches. All right? Because the scriptures also say money is a defense. It's a defense. Right? You need money to obtain things, but see, this slows things down. All right? And I mean, Actually, I want to slowing things down for Esau Edom, but it's also really, you can say, speeding things up because what's what they want to happen, all right, is to make the transition from paper money to digital money via the brain, the CHIP, the brain CHIP. All right, so this really is all done by design. All right, it's not an accident or anything like that. This is all part of a big scheme, a big plan. You see, because at the end of the day, Esau Edom wants absolute control. He wants to be a god over the Israelites, which are the so-called Negroes, Latins, and Native Americans. That's his goal. That's what he's shooting for. Right? But the Heavenly Father is going to interrupt. He's going to break that whole thing up. You know, let's finish just as says, it shall be flesh as a fire. Anything, right, for America, aka Babylon, yeah, Babylon the Great, is to be burned with fire, right? And to say what the other should burn with fervently, you know? So this so-called money, this system, this land, being burned mountain from coast to coast, right? Government, all that, Lord gonna do away with all of it, throwing it in the trash, because hey, it's corrupt, it's no good, all right? Um, verse 4, it says, no, excuse me, let's finish. It says, verse 3. In part of 3, it says, ye have heaped treasures together for the last days. Behold, the hire the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is us, the Israelites, all right, on those plantations, right, North Central and South America, as well as the islands, right. Anywhere there was an Israelite, Jacob was working his ass off. He was in hardcore slavery, right? Run of that dealing with basically, you can say 1619. That's when the bulk of us came over here to the Americas, right? To shoot, really, earlier part of like the 1900s, we still had slaves in certain parts of America in 1920. As crazy as that sounds, 1930, 1940, we still had some of our people that was operating as a, as a chattel slave. You know what I'm saying? They just because you had certain parts, right, of these states to where it's what's the word? It's secluded. You know, what's the movie? Alice. You know that's for real. Another movie is was Antebellum, I believe it is, where what they Antebellum, they were basically reenacting slavery. But with Alice, I believe the storyline was that certain of our people did know that they were free. Like they wasn't privy to the modern time, if you will. When Jake is out here, you know, having things, he's got a job, he's got he got a little something, something, on the low level. But yeah, that's crazy. Finish this. It says, "Behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you kept back by fraud." Right. That's what we're supposed to get paid daily, right? Slavery is off the backs of the so-called Negroes, Latins, and Native Americans. It was free labor, right? We haven't been, restored from all that free labor. We have nothing to show for it. You see, but the history, which that's what history they want to do away with, so that there'll be no trace of them being the devil, right? Um, it says, and the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth, right? Meaning the Lord of armies, Yahushua, right? So hey, Yahushua is gonna make good on all the wrongdoing that was done to his people. You know, that's why the scriptures say just to wait ye upon me, so that he can rise up to the prey. Because he want to do his big one, but we got to be patient. We have to suffer, which the word suffer in the scriptures actually means to be patient. You know what I'm saying? Because when you suffer something, you have to wait. You know, it's not no instant gratification, but the wait will be, uh, it'll be well worth the wait. Once we are delivered, you know, and enter into the kingdom, is bliss after that. Right? We'll never have to see another captivity ever again. Right? It ain't gonna be nobody that's gonna be, set up over us. We ain't gonna be under the foot of no heathens. Right? We're gonna be fully restored. So kind of getting to my destination. I'm kind of wanting to get other scriptures, but you see what it is. Americans. So, hey, Lord willing, this was edifying with that. I want to give all praise and honor and glory due to Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bashem Kakadash. Give honor to the apostles and elders and great men still in the well. Peace and salutations to the occupants, pushing his word and the truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. Shalom.